Okay, for the past few weeks or something, I've been getting up a lot earlier. I was curious if anybody was gonna tell. The biggest tell was that the mailman came a lot later in the episode. But as the caffeine addict that I am, we are officially starting the day with a dunk. Honestly, this is making me real happy right now. I forget who wrote this, but some book I read, man, I'm really trying to remember. Maybe it was Tim Ferriss, I'm not sure, but somebody said, if you win the morning, you win the day. Honestly, I do feel like I'm pretty winning right now. We should normalize getting enthusiastic about like nothing. Getting enthusiastic about like normal stuff, like just your normal life. Normalize feeling pretty. In today's morning roundup, one thing that is not pretty is this printer. That's 2 layer shifts in a row. So there's definitely something going on here. We're gonna have to check the belts. I don't really know what it is. We're gonna have to start replacing stuff till this works, basically. In much better news, of course, the Sleaze Stack Land of the Lost can is done. We'll get it painted and maybe we can get it shipped out Monday. Yes, that effing replacement milkshake is very close to done. And also not fun news, this printer just went blank and it was making a new wall mech thing, but it just decided to like die. So that's unfortunate. We do have an Einstein over here, and in much better news, the big hammerhead's coming along. All right, so I turned it on. We're getting weird temperature readings, and it is not. It might actually be hot. So we're gonna have to replace the hot end. There's something weird going on with the thermistor. Yeah. Well, at least we know what the problem is. Oh yeah, we've got a sperm whale here. We just tightened up the belts and stuff. I don't really feel like that was the problem, but I can't figure out what else would be. So fix what you can fix. So like I previously alluded to, we have another color of Guitar Octo that sold. So we're gonna get some pictures with it, make it a new product. That's the M3 way right there. $1 million right there. There we go. Another Octo listing. There we go. Perfectly respectable week of product launches. Let's package some things. Of course, we have the psychedelic Einstein. Time to ship Lisa Frank Dolphin. And they actually ordered another dolphin. So that's cool. All right, we made our filament for the day. Let's go get some supplies. Oh, unbelievably, I ran out of thank you cards. Longtime viewers will remember we did an experiment with thank you cards. Basically, I wanted to see if people would be more likely to leave reviews if I gave them personalized notes. I don't know why I'm coughing so much. So yeah, even hand-signed personalized notes had like no effect on people outside what was normal. But when you guys get the giveaway items and there's some other things, I've been including those notes since I had a bunch of them, and I've done enough of those that I actually ran out. So we're gonna go to the dollar store and get more notes. Also, I spent like another hour working on the fire thing, the fire guitar holder, and we're getting pretty close. It's getting toasty out here. Wow, it's almost kind of a busy day at the Dollar Tree. That's pretty me. Decided to get a few different styles. That's pretty me. Obviously, you guys saw that. And a couple of classics. Boxes time. Fresh fish. Oh. Well, it took a long time, but I finished the entire fire guitar wall hanger. Honestly, it's pretty big. I think I'm gonna have to charge like 80 bucks for it or something. It's almost takes 2 kilograms of filament. You guys will see in the next few days, but one of the design challenges with it, the different components have to kind of look like a bonfire or a ball of fire or something like that. Like, it's very hard to make something sort of minimal look like fire. Like, it's just not gonna have the visual appeal if it's just a couple of wisps of fire that are kind of holding the guitar on the wall. So I was trying to find the right balance of like making it look satisfying, but also not using too much material. But I think it might look spectacular enough that somebody might pay like 80 bucks for it. I mean, if it's really cool, people will do that. Again, I've kind of said this before, but you have to imagine what it's gonna look like. You have to imagine the pictures. It's gotta be something that when people see it, they're like, wait a second, what is that? And then they click on it. Here's a piece of advice for people out there. Like, there's probably a lot of things you might wanna make, but you would have to use a lot of material to make it, and you'd have to charge a lot, and you don't think people will buy it. And maybe that's true, but there is an aspirational thing. Like, there's some stuff that people, it's almost cool to them because it's expensive. I mean, it has to be cool enough that people are going to think that. But sometimes if you can make a really cool thing, even if you have to charge a lot, maybe people won't buy it initially, but they'll save it to their lists. And then they'll see it as they search for other things periodically, and they'll think, man, maybe I'll just pony up the dough for that. Basically what I'm trying to say, it's more important to be unique and compelling than affordable. Because for the right thing, people will just lose their minds. Or maybe they wait for a special event or a birthday or Christmas or something like that. You know, price is less of a barrier within reason than you might think. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Really, it all comes down to things that will get attention. Yeah. So obviously you want to make things affordable. You want to get into a good price range. But it's not the end of the world if it's a little more expensive sometimes, because at the end of the day, they want to take pictures of the thing and put it on Instagram and brag to their friends, okay? That's a lot of people. And even if they have to wait and save up some money or something, a lot of people will do that. Let's dive into some Discord. Link, if you want to join, is in the description, and it's a great community. It's the Gratitude Gang. Dash Render, responding to yesterday's episode, says, "You can't leave us hanging on the Ford choir joke. If the Ford Motor Company fronted a singing group, it could be called," he says, "the Tune-Ups, the Four Cycle Quartet, the Straight Six." No. All right, I guess you guys have waited for an entire episode. If the Ford Motor Company sponsored a choir, it could be called the Ford Taurus Chorus. Don't say I never gave you anything. Ambassador Naranek says, "I'm not one for getting tattoos, but the tattoo I considered getting for a while was the lion rampant appearing to burst through the skin. That sort of thing would be a cool product. But it made me think of a zombie bursting through the wall to grab guitars. Not sure if that would infringe on the silly hand patent thing you went through, though." It would. So the comment section on the last YouTube episode, I'm trying not to be a dick sometimes. Like, part of the reason I focus on all this gratitude stuff, it just seems like the right lens, but also just sometimes stuff just bothers me and I just have to let it go. I'm just I'm saying this just to be honest. I'm not saying this in a passive aggressive way at all. But in the last, second to last episode, I said the thing of like, so, hey, what are you guys' ideas for guitar wall hangers? And remember, they can't involve hands. And it was cool because there was a bunch of good suggestions. But like 80% of the comments were things with hands. Like go through and look at the comment section if you want. But there was like 4 or 5 people, something like that, that suggested things that were specifically hands. When I said like it couldn't be hands. But it's like, am I really gonna just like be a dick about this? I mean, I appreciate that people would comment at all. So it's like, I'm not gonna be some like prima donna about this. I'm not gonna be, I don't know what the term is. I'm wanting to say Mary Sue, but I don't think that's right. Pollyanna. I think that's the metaphor I was going for. I'm not gonna be a Pollyanna about this. But it is just a little weird when you say like specifically, remember it can't be hands, and then like almost all the comments are about hands. But anyway, try not to be a little biatch about this. Trust me though, yeah, like I have a competitor that does the zombie hand thing and it is like bursting through the wall. It's sort of cool. It's really overpriced, and that I guess I'm not going to talk about my competitors. Like, they're annoying people, basically. The people who did the whole legal thing where they trademarked my own product to prevent me from selling it, they're kind of exactly who you would think they would be. Like, they are the kind of people that would do that. Yeah, I'm not blaming anybody. I just really try not to think about that whole episode. You know, an angle on resentment that I've never heard somebody take when they're talking about it philosophically or psychologically. Man, this is a really deep idea. Let's see if I can enunciate this correctly. Man, this is actually this is a thought you want to pay attention to and really absorb. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Yeah, I just connected this for the first time ever in my brain right now. One of the reasons you don't want to be resentful, especially if you ever want to have a good life, is because if you try to be ambitious at all, if you try to improve your life or seek gradual improvements, there's always going to be people who are trying to keep you down. And the better you do, the more there are people like that. The reason you don't want to be resentful when you do that is because at some point, you just won't be able to take it. Think of it this way. What you're doing when you're being resentful is you're taking a small amount of poison that somebody gave you and you're like multiplying it, right? Like the whole thing when a company came after me and prevented me from selling my own product that I was selling before they did, that whole thing, I won't go through it because I don't want to think about it. They wounded me. But if I dwell on that and just keep thinking about it, it's like it makes the wound worse. And the reason, if you're trying to be ambitious, if you're trying to get your life together, all that kind of stuff, the reason you can't do that is there's going to be so many of those. There's going to be so many people who try to backstab you or do this thing or that thing or try to chip away or try to discourage you. If you keep multiplying all those little things in your head, you just won't be able to take it. You will just go freaking insane. Just to recap, without getting into the details, what Ambassador Naranek there was referring to, I had a product that I sold well into the 6 figures of. In a lot of ways, I mean, the reason I got this location is because of that product, basically. I mean, it was like a quarter of my business, so losing it wasn't the biggest deal, but it was horrible. I mean, I hired an IP law firm to fight this stuff. I mean, I didn't really screw myself. I didn't spend more than I could afford to or whatever, and it was sort of worth it to do what I did. But when these people came after my main product wrongfully, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of wanted to like murder them. Maybe it's just, you could pare it down to a lot of things. I grew up in a rough situation, as a lot of you guys know, and I had gotten off the street only a couple of years before this. I had done I've been involved in a self-defense incident involving a firearm. Let's just put it that way. So like, there was a real part of me that wanted to like murder these people. And yeah, you just have to let that go. Because if you keep dwelling on these things and getting resentful, there's just gonna be more of them. There's another one right behind that guy. This kind of has happened. I mean, it's been a while since anything major happened, but like, if you're just looking for things to get resentful about and you're trying to like have a business and be successful and work towards goals that you actually value and be intentional with your life, basically, like, there's just gonna be, you don't even have to be a big deal. I'm not a big deal, but you don't even have to be before people start coming after you, before people start doing crazy stuff. Yeah, I've never put it together like this, but that's why one of the reasons why you shouldn't allow yourself to become resentful, because man, at some point it will be too much for you. It's going to be all you think about. I never thought to enunciate it this way, but that's one of the things I learned when people came after my #1 product like that. Like, at some point I realized I just couldn't think about this. Like, this went on for months and months and months. And like, I was running my business much like I do now. And I had an employee at the time, and it's like, man, you can't become consumed with resentment, man, especially even if it's justified. That almost makes it worse. Because if somebody's doing something that's pissing you off, but deep down you know you're at fault, it's like, at some point you can have a come to Jesus moment where you're just like, I should just let this go. I mean, I'm in the wrong anyway. But when they're coming after you and it's a totally just BS thing, it's so bad to get resentful, because it's just like, it will consume you. It just about did. And I mean, it kind of did consume me for a couple of weeks, honestly. I was thinking of doing all kinds of crazy stuff, because it's like, the legal battle was going to be pretty hard and pretty expensive, even in the best case scenario. So I was thinking about alternative solutions. Let's just put it that way. But yeah. So allow my pain to teach you something. A wise man learns from his mistakes. A really wise man learns from the mistakes or experiences of others. I'm kind of butchering that quote. Learn from my experiences. If you want to do anything with your life, maybe ambitious for you is like not even some crazy thing. Maybe you just want to have a pretty good side hustle, 3D printing. Maybe you don't even want to do this full time. Whatever it is, you have to just not get resentful, because it will bog you down. It multiplies the scars and the wounds that you receive from other people. And like, it's bad enough, even if you're just like minimizing that. Even if you're trying not to focus on all the things, like, there's going to be so many things that you have to get really good at brushing that off. Yeah, it really is like a weight. It's just this thing that bogs you down. And like, obviously you have to address issues like happened to me. I had to address it. But you got to be careful not to multiply that more than you absolutely have to, because it will gum up the works. Yeah, I probably shouldn't just talk about this for forever. Like I said, I try not to even think about this, but that's a very good contribution, Ambassador. Thanks. I put a little connection there that I never put together before. Let's read one from YouTube. This is a username that I would not know how to pronounce. Thank you for the inspiration. I bought 6 printers, all used, and luckily all work, just needed adjustment and calibration. Working on mastering a slicer and blender. I guess he's mastering Blender and using a slicer. I rented out an office and I'm living in it, and trying to get myself up and running. It's hard work, but anything worth doing isn't easy. I have a lot of respect for you, that you create your own models. I also noticed that you don't have ABL. I assume that's automatic bed leveling. Badass leveling master, I'm sure. Oh, and then he edited 2 monoprice select V2, 1 Ender V3, 1 Voxel Lab Akia, 1 Ender CR10, interesting, and 1 Ender 3 Pro. Yeah, I wanted to highlight that because that guy's kind of doing what I did. I wasn't initially living in an office. There was a point at which I was living in an office, but that was before I had a 3D printing business. But basically, that's very, very relatable to me. And what would I say after all my years of experience of doing this stuff? Honestly, just start small. Start small with goals that you would actually do. Habituate them into actual habits, then increase them a bit. Like that's kind of what I did with the goal board. I know I'm always talking about it, but it's just kicking so hard. It's really coming through. It's like at first I was just trying to do 3 per week, and I kind of failed at that at first, but now we're like really doing that, and I'm probably averaging like 4 per week at least. But the goal still is 3. Just ratchet it up slowly. Be very, very patient. So just figure out what action steps, what next indicated step, as they say in AA, is for you, and just move in the direction consistently. Consistency is the thing. Consistency is the goal. Don't try to do it in one day or over a short period of time. You need to be thinking in weeks and years, and you can do that. You can eat a whale 1 mouthful at a time. Some really good comments this week. I don't know why I said this week, because I do this every day. Some really good comments this day. Really got me thinking some stuff. But I appreciate you guys. You are the Gratitude Gang, and you are valued. You are very valued. It means a lot that we have this community. Like I said, if you want to join the Discord, it's a really big deal. It's a very nurturing, supporting, encouraging community. Link in the description. But I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.